Hello everyone, and today we are talking about a project named Okami. You are basically reverse pilot on a Meteor sprinting around the game world in an RPG-like style. Fashion trying to remove the darkness from the land by performing good old BTC OO's diplomacy short for Beat the Crop. Out of someone Okami's an action-adventure originally developed by Clover Studios and now given the remaster treatment by Capcom is about out December 12th for PS4, Xbox and PC for $19.99. Let's see how it did shall. As always, if you like the video, maybe subscribe. So here's my review for Okami K9. Uber, what happens to retired FIFA players and the ever-sons of goldfish, bad guys, and of course graphics are up first. If there is one thing to say hope have to call me is that it's a completely unique look to a game, and I think that's really rare that we can say that, but here whether you are fighting off well-defended flying goldfish enemies are entering the decided remains of game's ancient land that used to be filled with color that's now sort of patched out in almost black and white and red in its design, and you cover all that with the ancient Japan's wood prints and painting like art style, and of course a full-fledged protagonist, and you have a recipe for a title that is at the very least gonna have some folk stuff and insane what in the hell game are you playing right now. But another place where Okami really nails it is in its color use, not just its art style, and you guys have heard my talk about color use before, but really the entire game is a little league temporary created into Bob Ross' brain and then had some kind of fever dream, and then set out to paint it, and as you replenish in the land the color comes back in this strange moment of flowers and trees sprouting into life and spread across the world. Now some may or may not like the heavy-lined art style and character design, but one of the positives of this is that one of the game's mechanisms, which is using a celestial paint brush to make effects on the game world, fits perfectly with the art style of the main game, and rarely do we really see such a keen fish between art and gameplay. Fantastic stuff. If there is one thing I really am not a fan of, though, it is that the art style does not lend itself well at times to third-dimensional jumping or the occasional times when you are sure you drew something just right on the screen, but it really made no change or effect overall, so there's a small quibbles, now maybe not so small for some gamers. I assume is gonna be the fact that this is a remaster of every old game that is still locked at 13 FPS, and like other games, the reasoning the devs have given is the making it 16 FPS would cause issue with animation, and in the game's engine we have seen that be true and not true depending on the dev, but regardless that's what they said. Also, I think it's a fair point to mention that due to the fact that the camera works in this game, as well as some various different post-processing effects, at times the Okami can actually look a little bit blurry. Now that is actually by design, but I think it's worth monitoring, so as 13 FPS locked for all systems are real. Technical difference we see here is the resolution between the older system at 1080p and of course the Pro and the Xbox Series and PC at up to 4K, and you have a game that, well, not technically really anything to write home about. Artistically it's probably worth allow later, or to sound, music and voice. Let's do music first, that is just covered with compose. There's people who worked on Bayonetta, people who worked on Mage Man Resident Evil, and they do incredible work here. So you do have some samples of various native instruments and so forth that I really like well. Not exactly ever strayed from the expected path, it is important to remember this game. One soundtrack of the year in 2007 when it originally came out, so very good soundtrack sound. This is actually pretty good from the many samples of the full-fledged protagonist as he runs Tansana across as an heavily painted world freshly saved from the decolorations. Also, so it's the battle sounds, and while you don't have many weapons, each one that you do have has enough separation across a sound spectrum that you can't tell if someone's getting hit. And yes, that is even if the entire screen is filled with flower petals and explosive shrapnel from the boning bomb that you just dropped on top of Chimera. I think another place where this game shines is highlighted in the light, atmospheric, so it's not too heavy on the one throw. The trees sound like many games where it sounds like for your friends are surrounding you and just hissing into your ears, but it's just enough to land each place. And ambitions. Also, there is a number of applied sound processing effects, for example in the open area, in the middle of the forest, or in a cavern, that really do help you get enveloped into the environment. They are very heavy, so, and sometimes to the point of seeming just a teeny bit aggressive. So thanks for watching, subscribe to my channel, and wait my next video. Goodbye.